This is my first ever try to podcast. I have been watching a lot of knitting podcasts in the last years, and yeah, I just love watching them when I'm knitting, and I hope that with this one I can keep you company while you're knitting, or give you some inspiration, because those are the two things that I really like when it comes to knitting podcasts. And I think knitting for me has become such an important hobby over the last few years that I really would like to share that also with a big community. I'm teaching some of my friends to knit now, and I think it sparked a lot of interest. But obviously, I know that there are so many other knitters out there, and I would love to connect with you all. So I thought I would start with what I would consider a normal episode of a knitting podcast. So I would like to show you some of my recently finished stuff, and then share some of my whips with you, and maybe also some acquisitions, because that's what I like to see when it comes to other knitting podcasts. And maybe you're also interested in that. I'm wearing, I think it's the Polar Sweater by Huit Design. I bought her book a couple of years ago, and I made a few things out of that. And I think especially when you like super easy like designs with a bit of a twist, or like that have this like special something, I think that's the way to go. I also really like the Colette sweater, for example. I'm considering making a new one, and also made the Colette tee, which I really like. So I think I can highly recommend her book. It was one of the first things I knit, I think, in the second year of knitting, and I like the boucle effect. It was actually I always call it my COVID sweater, because I got COVID quite late, I think, for the first time, when basically everything already had passed. and then I got it, and then I started knitting this one within maybe a week. So it's also fast knit, but I obviously had a lot of time also. And yeah, maybe let's start. I hope you have your knitting with you, or something else crafty that you're working on, and I'm gonna show you some of my finished objects. So the first one, I've worn it a lot already because I love it. When the pattern came out, I was really like, I knew from the beginning that I wanted to make it. And I haven't really made a lot of things in stripes. So I considered a different wool, but then I found this one a couple of months ago, and I knew that this would be the combination. So I can show you. I hope you can see it, actually. I have to redo the sleeves, sorry. So hope you can see it. It's my Shortcake sweater by Jamie Makes, I think. An Australian knitwear designer. I love her designs. I have made the I think it's called Happy Hour top, and I love that for like, it's more of like a summer outfit. And when she came out with this, or when she shared the first drafts of this design, I thought, okay, I definitely want to make this. I made it in a bit of a thicker yarn, I think. So it's from probably knitted on 5mm needles, I think. And the yarn is Trachtenwolle. I don't really know the producer. I can check that. I bought it in a local yarn store. It's usually yarn that you use to make these traditional like sweaters or cardigans that you wear over like the traditional Bavarian clothes. And it's very sturdy, sturdy yarn, and I like 100% wool, so I thought I would try and go with this one. And I love the color combination. It just gives me good vibes and a happy mood. And I used for the white one, the white part, the white stripes, I used Finull, I think Finull, yeah, from Rauma Garn, which I also tried for the first time in this weather. The second one, I think it's a very funny knit. I have a lot of happy knits. It's the, I hope I can show you. So it's not too easy to see. It's like this. So it's the sorbet top. No, I always say sorbet top. It's not the sorbet top. It's the limoncello top. I linked the designer. I think it's Ole Knitwear. I have to check. And I think one of my goals for this year, I mean, I love buying new yarn, which probably all of you do. But my goal for this year was also to use up a lot of the one that I have in stash. And I think for this one, it was kind of a process, like of putting colors together, because I knew that I had this cashmere cotton combination that I bought also, I think, in my second year of knitting. It was on sale, and I got like different colors and stuff, and I just thought, oh my god, it's cashmere, like I wanna try it. It's very soft, and but I didn't really have a plan what to make with it. And I had like 4 balls, which is not too much, in different colors. And I figured, okay, I wanna, because usually in summer I get inspired by all of the summer tops, but I don't wear them much, but still I think it's always fun to knit. Sometimes it takes a long time, but yeah, it's fun to knit. And I also, when I knit in summer, I don't really want to carry like the 100% wool, or like really like thick wool with me around. So I usually try to have like a summer knit or something. And that's what came out of this this year. I knitted on it in Greece most of the time when I was on vacation there in September. And I started with the cups, so the red, and I was measuring it precisely because I was hoping that it would last. So this is 1 ball and 1 ball of the red color, and it worked perfectly fine. And then I had more of the orange. So I started actually this with the orange, like this border, but ripped it back because I figured, oh, I actually think it's gonna look nice with this color change. And I only had 1 ball of the yellow as well, so I was just like calculating and stuff. And that's what came out of it. And I just finished actually the I-cord. I haven't worn it. I haven't worn it in summer. But yeah, I really like it, and it's gonna be one of my festival wears for next year for sure, and summer wears in general. And yeah, so those are the bigger garments that I finished in, I think, November and December. And it's Christmas season, so it's a few days before Christmas actually, and I figured, I don't know why, but usually I like to knit for myself mostly. And I don't always think it's easy to tell what other people are gonna like. Also, you need some time at hand to really make gifts. But this year, I don't know why, I really had the urge to make a few things for my loved ones. And yeah, I don't know, it's just also something that, because I want to use up stash, I think it's easy also when you have like 1 or 2 balls of something that you can just use for like a smaller knit. And yeah, so I can show you some of those because I have some at hand, some I've already shipped. But that's why I wanted to film today, because I'm gonna hand over a couple of gifts the next days. And it all started actually with one scarf. And that's this one. I'll show you. I think it's amazing. I like the yarn. I like the pattern. So it's just perfect. It's also cashmere, actually, from Rico design, I think. So it's just like my one of my local yarn stores carries it, and sometimes I go there if I look for a bit of a cheaper yarn, and that was also on sale. So I got this. They only had this color and a beige one, and I was not so sure about the colors. I would have bought more if they would have had different colors, but yeah, in the end I didn't also know if one of my friends would really like this color. So in the end I knitted it and I decided to keep it for myself. But I've worn it a bunch, like a lot actually, in the last days. And it's actually the pattern, it's the Thelma scarf by Ingrid Dip. Yeah, that's her name, Ingrid Dip. And yeah, I just enjoyed it a lot actually, because I think it's hard with the tiny scarves. Like, in my opinion, I need them to, like, I need to be able to wrap them around twice, otherwise it's not gonna work for me. I'm not gonna wear them. And that's why for this one I also used, I think, more than 1 ball, at least 2 balls, if not 3, because it doesn't have a lot of yardage or meterage, as I would say. And I just enjoyed the process of knitting it, because I think what she manages really well is you get a long scarf, which is not too thick. The pattern is beautiful, and the increases work for me, because sometimes I think the increases look a bit weird in these tiny scarves, and I don't like the triangular versions, because I don't think that they are very practical, at least in my opinion. I rather prefer like a long and thinner one. So that's the one that I'm gonna keep for myself for now. But I made a few different ones. Also playing around with some yarn, trying out new yarns. So I made the same pattern. It's a bit thinner yarn, but obviously with these kind of scarves it works. It's Lamana Milano, I think. It's the yarn. It's a wool and cashmere blend. So it's mostly wool and cashmere. 10% cashmere, I think. Because I also think it's important that with the scarves, as they are so close to your neck, that they, especially when you gift them also, that people actually enjoy them, like enjoy to wear them. And I made actually a different one out of 100% wool, and I tried it, and I didn't like it. I made a few people try it on, like friends of mine, because I was like, I cannot wear this. Like, for me, it's not possible. And some were like, hey, for me, it's fine. And others were also like, no, it's scratchy. So in the end, I don't really know what to do with it. Maybe I just unravel it and reuse the yarn for something else. I made one also. I actually use the pattern now also for easier designs. So this is just 2x2 rib, basically. That's I'm gonna give that just now, like actually today, to a friend of mine. It's definitely her color, I'm quite sure, and I hope she's gonna like it. And it was one small ball of Cardiff Cashmere, which was on sale. One of my local yarn stores, they always have like a basket, like a bargaining basket. I love to like to just look for yeah, like special yarns in there. And then they had these Cardiff Cashmere, which is like, I was very lucky to find also this color. I feel like I love this color, so definitely can recommend. It's yeah, I squeezed out the maximum of this, and yeah, I hope she's gonna like it. One other gift knit, almost finished, not almost, but one part is finished. So these are socks. I don't have an actual pattern, I think, for this. So when I learned knitting, I don't know why, but I knitted socks. um, and I don't know, maybe for 1 or 2 years when I was like a teenager. And I tried different patterns also. I was like on Ravelry looking for yeah, for free patterns, I guess. It was not a thing. I don't know. I don't think it was a thing to actually pay for patterns. That's a new development. And so I think because it's like a basic 2x2 rib sock, I just figured, okay, I'm gonna try to just make it up as I go. And I think what was more important was to just get the gauge right and the foot size right. But I just tried, and like I think she has very similar, like the friend that I want to give them to, she has very similar shoe size, so that's easy to figure out. And I used let me get it quickly. I have it here. So I bought a few of these hand-dyed yarns, hand-dyed merinos. It's from Shangrok, I think that's how you call it. I don't really know. They come from the Himalaya region, so I thought that's like a very, very special yarn. I found it at Stephen and Penelope's in their online shop, actually. And I bought like 4 of these, I think, the variegated. Maybe you can see it. I don't know if that works. And I love green. But I also figured it's maybe a bit hard to knit a whole garment out of this. I just think it's a bit, yeah, it's not the easiest because it's very strong colors, and I'm still looking for a pattern. I have something in mind, maybe show you with you next time. But I bought these variegated ones, and then I bought 2 of like just green ones, which is dyed with the same dark green that's used in here. And for the socks, because I figured, I also think it makes a huge difference for socks what needle size you use in terms of how fast the sock is gonna go, like continue progress. Because now I don't like to knit socks that much anymore. But this friend, especially, like she wanted socks. I have actually 2 friends that were telling me that they wanted socks. So I tried to yeah, to fulfill the wish. And so I figured, okay, I have this one, but I don't want to knit on like very, very tiny sock needles. So I'm just going to pair it with a strand of midnight sole. That's from Camaros. It's one of my favorite additionary yarns. How would you call it? Like a mohair, but it's not mohair, I think. And I love, like, they now have a huge color section. I went to one of the local yarn stores and they had like all the new colors, and I was like, oh my god, when I bought the first one they had like 5 or something. And I used it also in sweaters. It's super soft. I really love it. I love cameras in general, and I just thought they make a great match. And I think from that's all of my finished objects. I can show you some of the works in progress, maybe, because it's also socks. Like I said, I am trying to knit up a few presents for friends, and one of my friends especially, she also requested socks, and she loves the same bright colors as I do. So that was an easy one when it came to color choice or like the yarn choice, because actually I went to Amsterdam this year in April and went to Stephen and Penelope, the actual shop, before they moved. And I found this. It's actually German yarn. I didn't know that it existed. So these are the colors. Very bright orangey and more subtle coral color. And I thought, okay, this is perfect to combine in like a sock. And I was thinking about color work and stuff, and in the end I thought, okay, I'm just gonna go with stripes because I think it's an easy way how to use it, how to knit this up. And I just used the basic sock pattern from Ravelry. I can link it below. And yeah, just have a look. Like, I love that it's not like hand dyed. I think you can see that in the sock also when you knit it up. So that's very pretty. I hope the size is gonna fit. She has a bit taller feet than I have. But in the end, because it's also like a ripped pattern, I think it should be fine. Just put this down and show you one of my bigger whips, or my, like, I have a few whips. Some are also a bit abandoned, but I want to pick them up. Most of them, I think 2 have sleeves missing, so I got stuck on Sleeve Island. But yeah, I just bought a lot of new yarn actually this year that I wanted to try, and one of them is Nutiden, like a Swedish from a Swedish producer, and it's unspun yarn. It's not the first unspun yarn that I bought. I bought the one from Rosa as well in Portugal. But I haven't knit this up. I have a project in mind, but I haven't knit it up because, I don't know, other things inspired me more, or I don't know. I just, yeah, I felt like, hey, I want to knit with unspun yarn. And when Nutiden had a drop in sometime in summer, I figured, okay, I wanna get some of the yarn. And so what I'm making with it is the Lovisa cardigan, also by Ingrid Dip. I saw it, same with with the Shortcake sweater. I saw it and was like, okay, this is like an amazing raglan cardigan, basic cardigan. I want to use a special yarn for it, and I'm sure I'm gonna love it. And that's how it's looking so far. It looks a bit big. Let's see how it turns out. I mean, it doesn't matter that much because in the end, it's gonna be a cardigan, and it can be a bit oversized. And I'm using, I love the green, and I'm using the Nutiden, and also Einband from Isega. No, Istex, sorry. It's the Icelandic wool brand. And because I figured it's a bit hard, like with the, for example, there are different types of unspun yarns, I figured. Because the one from Portugal, for example, from Rosa, it's way more sturdy, so it's not breaking as easily as this one. But Nutiden is just very, like, you have to be very careful with it. And that's why I'm holding it with the Einband. And I think I got this really cheap on eBay actually. And I think the colors just work really well together, and it just makes it easier to work with it. I would love to make 100% Nutiden sweater at one point, but maybe that's the next step then. For now, I think yeah, it's an amazing project and it's a lot of fun. It's different to work with it. Like I'm not. It's different to work with it than with other yarns. That reminds me that I wanted to show you a third whip actually. Have to get that. let me grab that before I show you the acquisitions. And yeah, so that's my garment, my active garment whip. Okay, so the reason why I wanted to show you this whip is because I'm going to work on this today. I'm going to meet up with some friends later, and we have this as like a common project, like all three of us are working on it, and yeah, just guiding us through the process. And this is what I have so far. It's the Maggie Vest from Petite Knit. That's the back panel. It's an amazing blue color. I have to think of the yarn. Let me check. So that's the yarn. Maybe it's here. No, it's the wrong tag. Okay, you all know the brand, but I just forgot. I don't know. It's a very common brand. They have also Peruvian Highland wool, but that's a different one. I'm just gonna put it in the comments, and then you can have a look. And I love that it's like a joint project, and everyone is knitting in different colors. The other one chose some, I think, lilac, and also I think it's 2 different lilacs. Yeah, so I love that. And I hope I can show you some progress on that in the next episode, if there's going to be a second one. And so I think that's all when it comes to like projects that I'm working on, finished projects. But I wanted to share some acquisitions with you because I have treated myself once again. And I show you the treat later on. I got a different treat from a friend because I thought it's a special yarn that you cannot find in Germany that easily. At least I haven't seen it. And that is a Peruvian yarn. So in this beautiful green color. My friend Lara, she traveled to Peru this year, and she also discovered her love for knitting, I think last year. She's also working with me on the Maggie Vest, and she brought me some yarn. It's 100% baby alpaca, and it's actually funny because it's called Lara with rare figuring. That's the name of the. We don't know if it's the name of the brand or if it's the name of the yarn type, but we just thought it's. And also we don't know if it's Lara or Sara, but I was super happy to to receive this from her, and I love the color. It's probably gonna be a very a scarf either, or maybe some mittens. I've made some fingerless gloves actually for a friend. I don't have them here because I've already sent them to her, but yeah, I just discovered like this interest in like making the most out of one ball or two balls of yarn. And so, and the other treat is, let me grab that. I finally ordered from Wool & Twine. She's based in Hamburg, and I've been following her journey for quite some time now. And I just, yeah, I mean, I love natural yarns, like woolly yarns. And I think she also embraces that a lot in her business. And she just dyes the most beautiful colors. And I figured I would give it a try. When she had the drop now in December, I looked through the pages and yeah, just fell in love with a couple of skeins. And I can show you. So my favorite is this one. I think it's the Romney FL base, I think, in the 4-ply version. And I think it's called Auburn. The color, I love the color. It's like this, I don't tend to turn towards brown, but this is just the most chocolatey brown you've ever seen. And I just love it. I don't know. I was like so, and it looks exactly as I expected it to look. So yeah, I'm super happy with this. And I figured I would, because I might make a colorwork sweater with this, because obviously 2 skeins it's not enough for one sweater. It's 400 meters per skein, so that's a lot. But still, I figured I would need a bit more. And I wanted to see also other colors, obviously. So I got this one. I think it's called Fennel. I think, let me check. Yeah, it's Fennel. And then the other one, I don't have the name because I took off the label, but it's the same base, and it's like this beigey, rosa-ish color, and I thought they would just make perfect, yeah, perfect colorwork sweater in natural colors. So I'm really happy, looking forward to working with this. And I have 3 other acquisitions, but they are not yarn because I thought you might like this. So maybe a bit of a story behind. So I have this secondhand book shop in town in Munich where I live, and they sell like fiction, non-fiction, German novels, international ones like English literature and stuff. But they also have a crafting section. And I don't tend to buy a lot of like not yarn store, like pattern books, let's say, because I mostly work with what's online, like the usual designers. I mean, some I've mentioned, some free patterns from Ravelry, whatever. But through just getting into knitting again and spending a lot of time for knitting, I think my interest in general in traditional crafting just became bigger and bigger, and there is like so much, I think, that has gone missing because people not tend to work handcrafts anymore, and yeah, so I think it's important to, I don't know, we as the ones who love these crafts and who love to learn like knitting or other like handicrafts, um, that have a long history, most of them, we are the ones who should also preserve this knowledge, I think. And so at this special like secondhand bookstore, I found last year already, it might show you in a different episode, like an old pattern book about traditional Bavarian knitting designs, and I thought it was just super interesting. It's I guess the culture around knitting in Germany, it's not as big as in the Scandinavian countries, for example, but still you have people that have always worked as knitters, and there's a lot of knowledge around that. And so I went there, I think 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I always check if they have something new in the crafting section. I mean, it's just you have to be lucky that they have something that someone turned in. And this time, what I found was again like a very historic book, and also this one. It's volume 1 and volume 2. And Schachmeier, I mean, they are quite a traditional German brand. I think they are very famous for sock wool, I guess. That's how I know them. And yeah, it's like some, I can show you maybe, like they explain certain stitches. And I think that's something that I don't really like. I love to learn new techniques when I just buy a pattern, basically. But I don't deal a lot with the like the stitches that exist out there. And this is just like a basic knowledge, like a knitting Bible, let's say. Or they explain like how they make certain types. This is for crochet though, I think. Yeah, this is crocheting. But there's also, yeah, here. There's also knitting designs. And it's basically two knitting books. Yeah, here's the second one. So it's super interesting. I would love to take some time and to go through them and to just, I mean, I don't really, I'm not eager to design anything myself, but I, for example, like to modify a few things when it comes to, I don't know, when you have like, for example, last year I started knitting a scarf, and there were some certain, how do you say that, cables running through it. And one I did not really like as it was in the pattern. And then I just went to this other book that I had and just looked for a stitch that I could substitute the one that was in the pattern with. And it worked really fine. And I think, yeah, I like to experiment with colors, but I should also experiment more with stitches, in my opinion. And one other thing I got, not from the secondhand bookstore, but online, also used, is a book with stories about knitting. It's called Zwei Rechts, yeah, Zwei Rechts, Zwei Links. I think she's a German author, actually. But yeah, she basically just dives into history of knitting, why people have knitted, what they have knitted, the whole like cultural tradition that is related to it. So I thought that's just a small Christmas. Oops. Oh no. I just threw it to the ground. So yeah, I just thought this would be like a nice addition to my book collection. I think that's it from my side. Thanks for watching, thanks for joining me, and yeah, I hope to leave me comments what you think about the patterns, if you liked some of the inspiration, what you're knitting on. Love to draw inspiration from you, and wishing you happy holidays. I hope you get some time off until the end of the year, and I hope to talk to you soon. Bye!